I think we treat actors like ice out of fridge. Like you put a
So
big ice
best
block.
when just brought out.
Fresh ice,
Don't
and
let
it
them
starts
melt.
melting. 99 release or Shore in the City release, I was so nervous, like sweaty pumps, panic attack. He didn't know what the fuck is going on. I could hear my heart pounding here, boom,
Oh,
boom, boom,
God.
boom. And DK is like, "What's going on with you?" I said, "I think let's go to a hospital."
I don't know, man. We're gonna end up fighting after this interview. I think.
Yeah, I know. She's thinking that's enough. 21 years.
Raj and DK, welcome back to Film Companion. It is always such fun to chat with you, especially when you have just released a show. Congratulations on Guns and Gulaabs.
Thank you.
The characters were so delicious. I was laughing in places I shouldn't have been laughing.
That's the idea, right? So yeah.
Yeah, I have to talk to you about that. And the songs just put me in a good mood, right? Now, what amazes me, and my argument is that the work that the two of you have done, the 2 seasons of Family Man, Farzi, now Guns and Gulaabs, and of course more are coming, have really defined streaming in India. I think your work has defined streaming in India.
Wow.
And I remember when Raj, you were saying that the first season of Family Man, you were Googling, how do you write?
Yeah, how to write a pilot?
How do you write a pilot?
How to write a Bible? What is a Bible?
Exactly. So how in not a very long time, I mean, it's been a few years, have you both attained sort of mastery of this format?
Have we?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always groping in the dark at the end of it. We do try to approach it in a much more structured manner. Even the structure was we invented our own structure. Like you saw all the cards on the wall. So we had to come up with ideas as to how do you approach and figure this long format. And as we do it, we tend to fine tune that structure a bit more. It has to be heavily organized. At the same time, it has to be balanced with a free flow of unbridled scenes and characters and moments. Otherwise, again, you'll be too defined by the structure. So
It's an evolving process, and I think we are also evolving. And there are hacks and tricks that we found that helps us organize these things, and like the cards or like various other things. There's a software that we use and all that. So I think we just we are better now at organizing it than we were when we were starting out on Family Man. So we have a few things figured out on how to do it. Yeah, but ultimately, ultimately it's the content that's going to matter. This organization just helps us put it together in a better way.
Well, for those, of course, people aren't going to see your organization, so I have to explain that it is these big, sort of like these on a wall.
Index cards.
Index cards on a wall with where characters are.
Color-coded for a track, or sometimes for timeline,
sometimes for the mood
sometimes
too.
the mood or the kind of a scene it is. Like it depends on the film itself. If you're making, let us say you're making a one timeline horror film, then there is no multiple tracks for color coding, there's no multiple tracks for timelines, but then you would color code it based on the mood, saying this is my scary scene, this is my action scene, this is my normal scene. So you figure out ways to do it.
Use our engineering background to do these flow charts and stuff like deconstruct.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, the reason we can't show it to folks watching is because Family Man 3's structure is behind us.
You can do a very wide shot where you can't tell the letters. Very wide, like from here.
The Raj and DK signature is, of course, the humor, right? And as I was saying before, in Guns and Gulaabs, I found myself laughing in situations that shouldn't have been funny. Spoiler alert, the one scene where the doctor is accidentally murdered and the henchman says to Chota Ganchi, happy congratulations.
Happy congratulations.
I just burst out laughing. And then he, of course, throws up and he says, happy congratulations, aapka pehla murder. Like stuff like this. Or there's that other scene in which Senior Ganchi is still in hospital and he's on the hospital bed, and they're trying to figure out if his foot is twitching
Twitching or not.
if he's coming back out of his coma or not. And there's a guy right behind, bopping up, trying to also I just died, okay? I want to ask you, what is the writing process? So you guys are sitting there, you're trying to create these characters, these scenes. Is there sort of a Raj and DK litmus test that now we know it's funny? Like, does somebody sort of fall off the chair laughing?
I don't think we laugh. We do laugh as we write, but it's actually the setup, the premise. When we figure, it's usually a setup that lends itself to a lot of humor.
I think some of this happens on screen as well, right?
This part did.
Like,
The guy,
You know the
This
Going
part
up
is like we put a set a frame and we realize that this frame is there, everybody's crowded, we wanted like a crowded frame.
Yeah.
But then we said, you know what, you come in the back and start jumping. Jump in
Yeah,
this
yeah.
gap, this gap, and this gap.
like you remember a frame in Shrek where the donkey,
yes.
he's jumping me. That's what this frame kind of, like a far off source maybe, like subconscious
These things
source.
especially like you're saying, when you're not supposed to laugh, like right in the very first scene when Babu Tiger wants a last breath. Our last breath was equal to last puff.
Right.
And it actually starts coming out of here because he was slashed there. So, as doing it, we were in the theater doing the premiere screening, and people actually started laughing, and that was the intent. And in this show, what we try to do with our humor is to be a little morbid. We went to the morbid side with the humor, and the violence especially, we wanted to treat it in a more cartoony way, but in a realistic sense. It was realism meeting cartoon in a way, the way he falls with a spanner, the way slashes are done, a lot of these things are quite asterisks, I guess.
Yeah. But how do you know when it's funny enough? How do you know when you've hit the right note?
On the paper.
Yeah, I think.
On the paper.
Yeah. We think it's funny on paper. And we think it's funny on paper. And then we execute it. And because we are there executing it, sometimes if it's not working out, then we go into a corner huddle and saying, why is it not working out? It was funny on paper. Why is it not happening? And usually there's a solution, or you know what, the problem here is this. And we work it around.
Yeah, some of them are funny on paper itself. Like for example, he wants to write the love letter, and you already know the entire sequence has fallen in place as soon as we decided he wants to write a love letter in English. That's the premise. That's a setup. Now we know what all there's going to be derived from it. So right there, it's a humorous track, and we realize the kid who writes it needs inspiration, but it's not just inspiration, it's actually a hack. He's actually copying the lyric because nobody else can understand what it is. So now he can be stuck on a word and doesn't understand what that word is. So it can go on and on, so that, and then you give the letter, all they're doing is looking at this pan-shaped design, which is a heart, and you don't spell it out. So, so there's so much to do in that. It goes on, and then you somehow crack it and get a Bryan Adams song and actually put it in a milieu like this. So it just becomes very fresh and very real, because in a small town where we came from and we saw these characters in pieces, we also used to listen to Guns and Roses, right? So
the characters the two of you create, they're very muddied morals, right? Mostly they're not nice people, right? But we don't judge them because you're not judging them.
Right.
Through your storytelling, I can see the affection you have for Charkat Atmaram or Panadhari Tipu, who are both murderers.
Right.
Right. They are both murderers. When you are writing, do you sit to think about how far can we take this? What can we make this character do before he becomes in that unlikable space? Like for Farzi, how drunk and how neglectful could Michael be before he becomes unattractive? Right? How do you find that line?
See, the idea is to create these gray characters, right? Especially in Guns and Gulaabs, you're talking about 90 or pre-90 cinema where largely characters were black and white.
Yeah.
The heroes were 100% white, the bad guys were 100% black. So It's beautiful to make them all gray as much as you
You
can.
take those
Yeah.
familiar characters like the honest cop, the villain with a flair, and the girl that everybody likes, but that's all they were in a way. I think that's what I remember some of it, and you now start treating them like a human being and decide that of course, there is gray in them. Now let's see how far we can go on the gray side. Do we go even gray, even deeper into dark side? How far do you go? This is one series where we went the other way. Like The Family Man is a dramatic series with a humorous lens, I guess, and same as Fuzzy, and they're all drama, but they have humor in it. This is a comedy with a dramatic depth, I guess, where we delve into drama, into each other's character. Even Atma Ram has a horrible backstory, and it's said in a very casual way, in an interesting sequence. So yeah, we went the other way around in this, and it was very interesting to see because slowly it got dramatic the way it ends.
Yeah,
even though
and nobody's entirely good or bad.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Even
Yeah.
the English teacher, for being the simple English teacher teaching good stuff to her students, is suddenly intrigued by, really? You kill two people?
Yeah.
And she's excited by the idea
Yeah.
of it. So
She begins to find him attractive.
yeah, exactly.
Once he's a murderer.
Yeah, and like I said, in a place where murder is a way of life and gangsters are the kings, and that's just how life is, right? You stop judging it, I feel. If you're growing up, okay, random example, if you're growing up in Colombia and you're dealing in cocaine, you're not thinking of it as a crime, it's a way of living.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, maybe I'm straight, it's too far-fetched, but
Right,
I'm saying you're
right.
growing up in a place where you're seeing gangs fighting and killing and stuff, and your aspiration is, I'm going to be a gangster one day, kind of a thing. Of course, there's goods and, it's a bad idea, but you're not going to judge them.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's a way of life. So that's what Chandralekha.
But do you struggle with how far you can push the envelope?
we do, like you would look. You took the example of Vijay Sethupathi in Fuzzy, for example. He's a drunk and he's not a good husband or a good father, for that matter. But while shooting, we could see that Vijay could take it anywhere he wanted, and they all improvise and they do it. So when there is a scene in the courtroom where he's been accused of all the shit he's done, and but the lawyer, and he's being pretty insensitive towards the lawyer, saying, "Did you see me? Did you come with me?" It becomes very sexist. It's borderline. So you can cross the line there, and then you'll stop liking him so much. So he asked me, "Do you want me to go that route?" So we want to know where the line is drawn. So we still like him, invest in him. You don't want to become a sexist at that point and start doing it. So always there are these lines drawn in that sense.
Yeah.
And yeah,
The first film you did together, Shadi.com, 2001.
short
You
film.
remember
Yeah.
that?
Of course.
Okay.
It is a short film.
It's
but
a short
it is-
film, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Sure,
so
sure.
this is a 22-year-old partnership. Have the sort of beats of this collaboration evolved, or is it still the same? Like you do some things well, you do some things well, and you stick to that.
I think, no, see, when we started off, we didn't know who does what well. So we were all doing everything. I think today, even to this day, we keep doing everything. Like, it's
तो
there is
ऐसा
no-
कुछ division of labor नहीं है.
No, it's
is no-
fluid, but there are things we lean into.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy writing a lot, so I lean into that a lot more. Like he's now giving advice on interviews to me that I should stop using my laptop less and de-stress in my life. So I kind of, like I had said earlier, that even if I go on a holiday, my perfect holiday would consist of the first part of the day in writing. So I would take the laptop and find a cafe, find a nice chocolate, coffee or whatever, and croissant, and just write. So writing, I've made friends with it. I like it a lot, so I lean a lot more in it. But besides that, filmmaking wise, it's pretty fluid. Usually I tend to end up with the actors, and he tends to end up a lot with the cinematographer. But again, it's only starts off that way. Like he would go directly there, I would go directly here, and we'll be sitting and talking about the scene. He's doing the frame, and then again, before we know, we're all doing
Everything.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like sometimes if you ask the actors or the crew, they would be surprised that, oh, when did you leave? When did you come? Like, oh, were the both of you here? That kind of a thing. They never realize.
It's so seamless.
Yeah, it's quite seamless.
Yeah.
It's quite seamless because we kind of know what we're doing going in at that point, and the bigger challenge is to get everybody else on the same page, like be it the crew, be it the actors, everybody, and so that's in that process it doesn't matter. Like we both are quite interchangeable in that sense.
And do you believe in massive prep, or do you improvise once you're there?
We don't prep at all with the
I mean, look,
actors. With the
fix it.
actors.
Yeah, we prep for everything else.
We-
What we don't do is we don't prep with the actors. Like
And
we
why?
We don't rehearse with the actors. We don't do workshops.
Workshops,
We
kuch nahi.
don't do
No,
nothing.
no.
Actually, even in characters where they were put in for the first time, that they haven't done it before, like radically different characters. Let's say Manoj hadn't done humor before, according to me.
Or
in the
Sam
Family
and
Man.
Raji.
Samantha had never done action or that kind of before, or in that case, even Adarsh Gaurav, for example, it's quite a complicated character. So we didn't have to do a screen test or none of that. I think we go with instinct, and we go with their confidence.
Yeah.
It's really that. It's just a chat.
Yeah. We discuss with them. We discuss the character. We discuss what we're thinking, or how we think it should play out, or how they think they should play out. So the conversations happen. Never ever open a scene and read. And if there, for example, training needs to be provided, we do that. Like Sam underwent training, like martial arts training and exercise and everything for that role. All that happens. But what we don't do is sit around and open the page and start.
Do you think it takes away?
So the last time we have done this was during Go Go Gone. I still remember Kunal Khemu, Veerdas, Anand Tiwari coming to our apartment and sitting around a table, and opened up the scripts, and we started reading reading from the top. Each one was reading their thing. After 3 scenes, we switched to poker. So we started playing poker and said, okay, that's that.
Yeah.
We got the mood. We're done. Let's go.
It's not even about it takes away. I think it's unnecessary after a little while. Even on set, right? These actors, they are like this. They figured this out about us. So they don't give you what they're going to give you in the take.
Right.
They are like, no, allow me
Especially
to,
the
allow me
guys-
to surprise
yeah.
you.
Right.
Especially
So-
Manoj and all these, anybody who done a second time with us, Manoj, Raj, or even Samantha and Cyril, right? All 3 was second time around.
Kunal too, actually.
Kunal, all these guys, they know what we want. We write to direct. So when we've written it and we read a bit of it, or like whatever, they've read the script and we talk about it, so they know which mood we are going for. And that's it, usually. And I think the freshness comes in for them just bursting in the first take. And we usually don't do multiple takes. We do like barely 1, 2, 3, that's it. Sometimes we just stop it after the first take, and our team will come up and say, are you serious? Can we just do another one?
And
Just
then?
for safety. So safety word, we threw it out long back.
Yeah. I remember
Safety-
now,
safety
even in-
take.
Even in the
Safety
latest.
take नहीं करते, बिल्कुल भी.
No, very rarely.
Yeah, and one of these days, like in one of the scenes we were shooting in KK Menon, he had this amazing performance, long scene. He did it, and we were like, wow, that was so good. And then somebody was like, shall we do another take? And this, and then like KK is like, I have no idea what I did in the take. I'm not going to be able to do it again. It's like, there you go.
So
Yeah, we
either
don't
which
need
way, I
it.
think it's fresh. And lately we also figured a way to shoot the series, this format. Even the films, when we go back to it, we're going to shoot in the way we've learned here. I think we treat actors like ice out of fridge. Like you put a
So
big ice
best
block.
when just brought
Just
out.
fresh
Yeah,
ice,
Don't
and
let
it
them
starts
melt.
melting. So I feel it starts melting, and then I feel it's rehearsed. I feel like they know what they want to do. They've hit something. We come and watch it, and then they're like, "Oh, that was so good! Just a little gesture, just the way the eye moved, just as you're talking, one quick thing, all that." So when we point these out, it's in their mind now, and they go back and they do it. It doesn't.
You're
look good.
hitting those marks.
Yeah, and good looking good. We're like right there. We're like, oh, not happening.
Yeah.
That was it.
All of these actors, like they all acknowledge this too now. They know, like KK, Manoj, Shahid, all of these guys are like, they know that we'll do a rehearsal where they're not acting. Like I said, they want a surprise on camera, right?
So the rehearsal's just for marks and
Marks and where
that's
I would
because
go. and-
everybody, all the actors, camera, crew, everybody's here. Okay, let's do a rehearsal take. Everybody does a rehearsal take. Nobody's acting, especially these actors. They're like, I'm going to surprise you. And as soon as the take happens, and they all have it in their mind saying, this is probably it, right? They're not thinking, let me give it a shot and we'll do another take. They're all
Right.
thinking, this is it, and they do it. And then now they start arguing with me saying, I just gave my best take, right? So they don't want to do a second take after this.
They get spoiled after that. So
Yeah.
when we ask for another one, just for a cool shot, maybe they're not even acting. When I do a really wide and want to do a really cool concept shot, they're like, I know you're going to use only this much, so I'm going to stop acting after this. I'm like, what? So I think.
So have you have said you're being paid, act?
No. I think they're too chilled for that. So, you know.
What happens when on a shoot, like you've done a scene, the two of you have a disagreement, like you think the performance great, you don't, then how do you guys sort of handle that?
Performance-wise, we're on the same page.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty much as you're seeing it, we're talking to each other, we're done. Right there. In fact, 2 lines or 3 lines into a scene, we know this is a golden take. Usually, as we're watching it, I know when they have to slip into the right mood. So as soon as they're into 1/3 of the scene, 1/4 of the scene, and we're looking at it, and we usually run the whole scene in one take. We don't usually do pieces. We don't do half a page and then change the angle half a page. We don't do that.
You like to do the whole thing at once?
Whole
Yeah,
thing
we
at
do the
once.
whole
Everything
thing,
is designed, even if it's a close or a concept shot or a fluid shot, doesn't matter. They all these days do the 3-page scene in a flow. So you're already in it. You know, you look at each other, we know it's on. Like this is it, this is the take. Now it's only slips, like a mistake or a fumble or some line is missed and things like that.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's good fun. It's good fun, especially for the actors. They're just easy job for them.
They love it.
They
I
don't
mean,
even have to get paid so much.
No, they all come in thinking it's a lot of hard work, right? Because at least most of the actors we work with now, be it Varun or Shahid, it's the first series they're doing, and they've done films before, so they're coming with this thing saying, "Oh my God, there's a lot to shoot."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I think they're pleasantly surprised at how much they've shot in a day. Like comparatively, if they shoot 2 or 3 pages in a day, we've shot 6 or 8 or 9 pages in a day, and the takeaway is after the first couple of days, they're just looking at the number and thinking, are we going to shoot all this? This is too much, this is too much. And after a while, they come to the realization that this has been effortless. Yeah. Or you'll shoot 3 pages and after 6 hours, you're like, okay, let's go home. There's nothing else to do. It becomes that, right? So they've all now understood that as an idea. Yeah.
But you know, speaking of Varun and Shahid, I was speaking to Konkana a couple of weeks ago, and she said to me that even in the OTT space, platforms are really pushing to cast stars, right? And the beauty of this space was that there were all these incredible actors who came up through streaming and became stars, but they weren't stars when we first saw them. The two of you have contributed to that massively, but now you are, like you said, working with Shahid, working with Varun. Is this true? Is a star system setting into streaming as well?
I do agree that I did feel the fact that when the streaming came in that, you know, this is an actor's medium. But I also look at it such a way that only an actor can do a series and not a star who's not an actor.
Sure.
Yeah, so there is no compromise for that.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree. But I'm saying even then, is there an emphasis that it has to be a brand name as opposed to somebody like, let's say, Ajaydeep Ahlawat, who spent so many years in the trenches before we all started applauding him for the amazing actor he is. You know, do you see less of that happening?
I don't think so. The reason why I say that is that there is a lot of demand for content. There's a lot of series being made, a lot of movies being made. In fact, there's a most amount of content being made, and you're not going to always cast stars in it. We need a lot more actors. So right there, it's just a function of the content itself that you'll need all these all kinds of actors. The way we look at it is that we want to mix it up. Like we started doing it in Show in the City. We started doing when there is not much. It's also, I think, the budget. You know, from the studio's point of view, where they put certain amount of budget, they want to see how to recover it. If you're doing a low bro or a low key or a low budget thing, do whatever you want. I can cast whoever you want sometimes. Sometimes to get the returns on it, I get it. But then we won't cast someone who doesn't fit the.
Even in these shows, like everywhere. I mean, see the star. You know as much as I do that when you see a star, there is something attractive about a star. That's why
course.
you go to a movie to watch. And if you think
Absolutely.
a show with the star is coming, it's automatic publicity, it's automatic viewership, interest, everything that comes
Yeah.
in.
It's all
Unlike
eyeballs instantly.
yeah, instantly. That will bring you to turn on the TV on the day it's streaming to say, oh my God, I want to watch Shahid Kapoor, I want to watch whoever the star is on the first day, which is what I think works for the platform. But the show has to be good, the actor has to be good, and everything
No,
has to be good
and-
for you to even go beyond that.
No,
Yeah.
and not just
After
that.
that, it's all stakes are the same.
Not just that, I'm saying you turn it on. But what we want to do as filmmakers who are greedy to get in more talent is there are so many people you're going to fall in love with in that show that you don't know the names of.
Yeah.
So, if Farzi or Guns and Gulaabs, anything, The Family Man, if you see all these people you
Kamar
might have
Cut.
seen here, Kamar Cut, and
He's one of them.
or the brothers and the friend and you know the bad guys.
There's Chalam sir and there's
And so you have everybody, they're all there. Now, these are the takeaways. You go in for something, you're drawn in because of something, but you have these many actors like The Family Man season 1 and season 2. We've had some 20 great actors that have had great careers after that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
breakouts,
saying?
absolutely,
So
yeah.
that's what it is about. That's what it is about. Mix it up so that you're not casting every familiar face, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
You know, in towards the end of Guns and Gulaabs, Arjun says, "हर problem का एक ही solution होता है, पैसा."
Right.
Right?
right.
Do you too think that's true as well for filmmakers?
In absolute terms, I don't think it's true though.
No, it's not true at all.
Yeah,
it's just a way people think. It's just a way you,
Yeah.
for that kind of a problem.
Yeah.
In Arjun's case, it's that kind of problem.
In a nutshell,
when you don't have money, you think money is the solution to everything. When you get some money, you realize it's not. That's how it is,
yeah.
right?
Or in this case, what it could translate to is saying, you screwing me over is not going to get you anything. Let me pay you back. So I can't pay you back what you lost.
a
but
logical-
I'll pay you back in money. It's a logical transaction. Or else I've screwed you over, you screwed me over. We both land in trouble. What do we gain out of it, right? That's one way of looking at it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, and I have to ask you one thing, which is spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the show, stop watching now. For me, the one part that I felt wasn't sort of organic enough was the way Chota Ganchi turns around in the last few minutes that we see him.
Okay.
Right? Don't want to say more than that. But the way you reveal him to be completely something else, I felt like you didn't see that enough. We didn't see, looking back, we wouldn't say, okay, we thought this could be.
Yeah.
Is there a reason for that?
I don't, I wouldn't agree with that
Okay.
because that was the one thing that we were very aware of. And we know how usually things would be done for that transition. Like you would have seen these specific things that you've seen in films and series that they would show you. We didn't want to show so much. But if you go and watch from the first episode onwards, every single bit of it is seeded in to show the transition that he is going through. Like
Even
in
the way he behaves with his friend's wife.
Right.
that's the more
admiring.
obvious. Yeah,
That's
there.
one of the more obvious ones
And
there.
the
It has a different meaning when you're watching
backstory
it.
the father shows.
Right. Because at that point, when you see it the first time, it's scary.
It's scary. It's
there are,
creepy.
there are
Yeah, it is very creepy.
Yeah, very creepy. It's a creepy scene. People call me and say, "What is this creepy scene? What's happening here?"
Yeah.
I said, "Wait for it. Doesn't matter. Just wait for it." So for once, we thought we don't have to be obvious in many places because we thought, "Hey, listen, this is the 4th season or whatever we have done series we're doing, and this is the most dramatic element in this, and I don't want to put out too much." But he imbibed the character so much that everything about him, even the father, the way the father talks to him, the whole male talk, what is expected of him, from whiskey, from just the way in those days, and his backstory about Indira Gandhi, and lots of things come in throughout the show. Every scene is actually filled with something. Either the actor does something or it's written in. And so I feel that it was a constant evolution, but extremely subtle. We didn't want to make it obvious anywhere because that's the usual way to go about it. So we thought Like, for example, I was just reading some review and then they said that, wow, and they went back and started watching it all over again, every scene of his to see this, and they started spotting these. That's what we
Sure.
wanted. That's what we
Right,
wanted
Yeah.
to see.
Right. I want to also talk about the sort of the nostalgia, right? And how heavily the series leans into that. And of course, the whole retro thing with the songs, but also with Tippu drinking Campa Cola, which just made me smile. Or that Sanjay Dutt hairstyle
Right.
that Atmaram has, straight out of Sajan. Recently, Rocky or Rani also sort of leaned into nostalgia so successfully. And I was just thinking, why do you think this is working so much right now? Is there like a larger trend? Are we just not happy with what we have?
Oh,
We were not aware that there is so much nostalgia going on in the industry at this point.
Yeah.
I did read something to say that, oh, there is another nostalgia one, which at that point we never ever
Right.
thought of it.
These things take so long.
Yeah,
The gestation is
yeah,
so long.
and usually
yeah.
we always tend to think a few years ahead and think that there's not going to be zombies for 5 years. There's not going to be a feminist ghost for the next 10 years. So we kind of think that this is going to be fresh even then. There's not going to be a spy from Jambur. It's okay. There's people, spies are going to still fight in slow motion and in suits and stuff. It's okay. So this one was so out there that it's for anybody's grabs. It's not about going to a new world. We didn't make a show where we are showing close-ups of look Casata ice cream, look whatever Bonvita, look Poppins.
Sure.
We didn't want to do that at all. This was used to go back to simple times and pull the grey in. Like go to that world, pick up these characters and get to their grey side is what the idea was. And of course, because of that, nostalgia seeps in already. It's just a backdrop. Yeah. It's really not about nostalgia. Like even in the trailer or the way we promoted it, we didn't want to do nostalgia tributes that way. It's there because it's serving us as a texture where I can develop a plot where Atmaram could go in his bike all the way to get a message and come back versus making people feel nostalgic.
Getting on a video call, hacked server.
Well, him not giving anyone more than a minute was just fabulously funny.
And all these things, because when we growing up, we saw these quirks, which I thought even if, let's say, 5 other nostalgic films and series are made, they might not get to these specific quirks because I knew these were very specific observations that we had. A love letter with a perfume on it.
Pink Mamba, yes.
Yeah, or
Pink
any,
Mamba,
whatever we used, quite a few of them were that part of it. Like
Right.
you could put a scene where you go up and fix the antenna to get your reception right, but we know that will be there out there.
Yeah.
So we don't go for the usual obvious ones.
Yeah.
So I think whatever we put in nostalgically, it's lending libraries. You wouldn't think of it picking up a book and hiding the cover with a newspaper so you don't see the picture of it. So we went for these quirks.
I also have to ask you about what is coming. Citadel and
I mean, there's a show called Gulkanda Tales.
Golkanda Tales, of course.
Yes, Gulkanda.
Gulkanda.
The
Gulkanda,
sweet
like the Gulkanda.
Oh,
Gulkanda
right.
Tales.
Huh.
It's a tiny kingdom, fictional kingdom of Gulkanda.
Huh.
So Gulkanda Tales. That's a show that's ready. That's almost nearing end of post-production. So that's in the works.
Rahi Anil Baravid directed it. And so that's...
Tumbar.
Tumbar,
yes.
Director. So we have these 2 shows in the post. Gulkanda is almost ready actually.
Yeah, and the Citadel is in post now. We finished shoot. And we have, of course, in development, we have Family Man 3.
Which
Guns and
we
Gulaabs
just saw.
2, Fuzzy 2.
We have Fuzzy too?
We have, I'm sure. It's a seed. It's a seed here.
There's so much writing to be done. It's just sometimes
so much
like, oh my
it takes
God,
time,
it's
yeah.
so much. Whenever this question is asked, I'll be thinking of all the number of pages we have to write. It's like, oh my God.
Achha, or films?
So, yeah.
And there is a film that we are
There
planning
is a
to put on the
film?
floor.
Yeah.
Yes, we are very excited about it.
And?
It's like this close to being completed now.
We're hoping to, not completed, like...
No, writing.
Writing.
No, when I say completed, I meant the writing.
Okay.
This close for the script to be...
Script's almost there.
Huh.
Yeah.
And we want to start it off maybe early next year or end of the year. And we have another film too. We have 2 films that we are planning. Like one is to produce, one is to direct. But writing both of it.
How exciting.
It's fun. It's fun to go back to go to that format again.
Yeah.
With all the learnings from here, you know.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, now it is a rapid fire round, my friends.
Okay.
And
I haven't
you
seen
have,
this before, so I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, first tell me, between the two of you, on sets, who is the screamer and who is the sulker?
Screamer and sulker.
Yeah, I look like the screamer, but I think he's the one who does the screaming.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shouting, I would say, not screaming.
Like I think I use it as an effect once in a while. So quite a few people are surprised that really. So, but I use it as an effect and usually it follows up with a joke around.
Yeah,
so
I
that
just
everybody's
can't
in.
imagine you screaming.
That's what I'm saying. So a lot of people
Yeah.
don't. Even if we said it, people will be like, really, I haven't seen him scream.
Exactly.
They'll say that.
That's that.
And do you sulk?
Sorry?
Sulk? Do you
Sulk?
sulk?
I think we sulk with each other.
Yeah.
Like in, I wanted it and you want it this way. You know what? I'm just going to go for a walk. You finished the shot. That's what that's what we do.
No way.
That's what we do to each other. I'll be like, really, we wanted this. I told you not to. Okay, fine. Fuck it. I'm just going to go for a walk.
And then you get mad and you go for a walk.
Yeah. But usually we just disappear for a few minutes and come back.
And then phir theek hai.
Pretty.
Yeah.
It's 21 years, like you said, we know each other.
Yeah.
This is a very healthy, functioning marriage.
Yeah, good one, right? Go for a walk. Take a walk.
Do you allow cell phones on set?
Unfortunately,
yes.
we do.
We do allow.
I don't want it.
See,
I
we're
think-
also doing this thing about where we are avoiding paper. So you cannot have it both ways.
No, I think we should figure out another way.
No, if you have, see, you need scripts, right? The ADs always need to be referring to scripts. and
Forget the
breakdowns.
ADs. I'm talking about the actors and the crew.
Actors,
I'm talking
yeah.
about DOPs and the actors. I don't think we should allow phones anymore.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah,
they'll listen.
I want them to be here. We shoot so much.
Yeah.
I want them to be present. I want them to reread the script, even if they're just sitting, read it more, think about it a little more, talk to your co-actors, figure out something. It used to happen. It used to happen. I still remember in '99, Burman and Kunal, and they were, even Manoj constantly is reading with Sharib and whoever is around. He's reading these lines over and over again. But as and when this Instagram is just takes over, everybody's on the phone all that time. And we find ourselves doing the same thing. So if he's there, it's like a yawn. We catch the yawn, we pick up our phone also, start doing it.
Yeah. Or checking out trailers of other movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And especially, we used to hate when people used to watch other trailers on the set because the mood is completely off. And then you'll call and say, watch this trailer. I say, I don't want to, because let's be in this mood now.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to take that forward now.
Yeah, maybe we should.
We should put in contracts.
ADs are allowed to have phones though, because they can't operate without their
Without.
phones.
And they're always
Sure.
on their feed. They don't
Yeah.
have time to sit and just
Yeah.
watch
Correct.
feeds and
They don't
reels.
really get time off so much. Okay, what's the most annoying thing an actor has ever said to you? I'm not asking which actor, but just what is the one thing an actor should not say
See-
to Raj and DK?
See, Raj, when, this is how they say it in Hindi. I know that you thinking, but this is how it's said. So I'm like, I know it. I know I can't speak as well as you. But when I'm hearing you say it, it's sounding filmy. So can you still do this line? So yeah.
Do you have one, DK?
No, I mean, not
Oh,
one.
there is another one.
Which one?
It's like, not annoying, it's funny annoying. Is that like, okay, I got it, you don't have to act it out.
What's the most annoying thing a producer's ever said to you before you became producers yourselves?
Oh, producers have said lots of annoying things, right?
Yeah. Tell
Like
me.
what? Tell.
No, I don't know. I mean, from having item songs to casting decisions to lots of annoying things they would have said, right? I mean, they're always looking at it from a certain point of view
Yeah.
of saying, okay, this person's last film was a big hit, would be the only parameter to cast somebody, kind of a thing. So
Yeah.
we've always had a problem with
The
that.
funniest-
Or having an item number is something we've always been a bit, wary of.
The only thing was, the specific example that made it to one of our films is that one producer pulled out the drawer, like his table drawer, took out and said, first half meet the parents, second half meet the
Meet the
fuckers.
fuckers. Yeah, that actually made it into a film. Yeah.
So, that was happy ending,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. But this is not a producer we worked with, though.
Right.
So that told us like, we should go
Maybe
out.
not.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, what's the one thing that you want the other person not to do? Like, what do you want Raj to stop doing? And what do you want DK to stop doing on a set?
I don't know, man. We're going to end up fighting after this interview. I think.
Yeah, I know. She's thinking that's enough, 21 years.
Let's see how far I can push the 21 years. Like, okay, name 5 flaws of your partner. That's the best way to break up a marriage. You know that? Have you seen Family Man? Like, of course.
Yes, of course.
Where the psychiatrist asks them, name 5 good things.
Good things, and
about
he's
your
like,
partner.
he's like, "क्या सांभर बहुत
हाँ,
अच्छा
अच्छा
बनाते हैं?"
अच्छा बनाती है बर्तन अच्छी
रसम भी
करती है
बनाते हैं।
And then she says,
You're like-
सांभर और रसम के साथ भी 5 नहीं हुए. But come on, there's got to be some pet peeves, right?
I know. But
We don't want to go public with it.
yeah, I know. Naming peeves is not a great way to
sustain a relationship.
like after this is over. Really?
You said
Really?
that?
That's what I do. You told that about me? Like,
Okay, no. Then I will leave it be, because we need the two of you to work and we need all the stories you have to tell. Okay, who's more nervous on the night before a big scene?
see, we
Big
take
scene, you mean?
Big scene, you
like
mean,
you're
okay.
shooting a big scene. Who between the two of you gets more?
I don't think I get nervous before shoot at all.
Really?
No, I don't
Then,
think so. We fret about things not being in place.
Requirements
Like, requirement
and,
not being in place, and shit, this hasn't come or that hasn't come, this is
Meaning
not
like
happening.
cameras, so location,
some
that
that
kind
lens
of stuff.
nahi aaya, we had called it still coming, what to do. The
Yeah, and then now we have
peti
to
is
figure out
missing, the jacket is
Yeah.
in there. But I don't think there's nervousness before any shoot. There's nervousness before release.
Release, like that's so it's
That's
a
what
great
I-
question to be asking today. That I'm saying we take turns, right? He
Okay.
used to be very, very nervous. Before.
Raj would.
He used to be.
Huh.
And see, what happens is when one person is nervous, the other person has to balance it out. So when he stops being nervous, I become nervous. Right? When one person is going, oh my god, the other person is like, no, it's okay, it'll be
DK,
fine, right?
in-
And if he's sitting and chilling, I'm like, fuck, I wonder what's
DK,
happening.
that pose didn't even make sense. If I'm sitting and chilling, when the hell did I chill like that? The hell? Does it look like me?
No, generic idea of chilling.
That's
not,
fine.
not how he
Not
chills.
specific to
I
Raj.
know. What? I don't even do that.
Okay, so right now, today, whose turn is it to be more nervous? Guns and Gulaabs is just dropped.
I'll tell you a better anecdote. 99 release, our Show in the City release, I was so nervous, like sweaty pumps, panic attack. He didn't know what the fuck is going on. We were driving in a car and I'm thinking,
Anyhow,
I could hear my heart pounding here, boom,
Oh,
boom, boom,
God.
boom. And DK is like, what's going on with you? I said, I think let's go to a hospital.
Yeah.
So we turned
Yeah.
around.
So I'm like, no, it's all gonna be fine, this, that, right? But it's not that I'm not nervous, except that when somebody's more nervous than you, you have to calm down.
So you literally went to a hospital.
We went to hospital because it's the first time that was happening to me, and they did stress tests and put all those things and made me run on the treadmill and all that stuff.
And you were fine.
Serious.
I was fine, and then I realized that's what happens to me is that
I learned a term called panic attack or stress
he
attack.
didn't care. He was
Anxiety attack or
panic
whatever they
attack.
call it.
Panic attack it was.
yeah.
Huh.
So cut to today, for example. I'm just reminiscing now. Cut to today. We just started reading a couple of reviews and said, and I kind of in a way. I even predicted what the reviews were going to be. A couple of days ago, I told DK and a couple of friends that this is how it's going to be. I know that. So we started off with a really good one, and we all, bunch of the creative team sat down and watched your film companion review, and it said like, oh, I agree with all this. This is bullshit. Suchin doesn't know this shit. This is all very good, but overall it's great. We had good fun. I'm just saying.
Yes.
He didn't get this part. He got this part. So we are okay now to see that that's fine. He got all this. He didn't get this bit. So a friend concerned calls me up and saw one mixed review and said this. I said, it's okay. Doesn't matter. Because I've seen this with Farzi. I've seen this with the Family Man season 2. That Friday reviews, when they come out, the first set of reviews when they come out, they tend to be a little hurried. They tend to be like, I want to finish a series and I want to put a review out. I get it. And so everybody's watching it like a feature, like they would do a feature. It's like a job at this point.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, because Go Gone didn't get a single 4-star review. And it's most talked about film of ours. So I said it's fine, because I know that this one's a fun ride. People will have flaws, and it's so much crammed in that you will not get a few, You will not agree with a few, but that's the beauty of this format. So the friend was like, wow, you're sounding pretty calm about this whole
Yeah,
damn
how
thing.
much you matured now? It's like,
Really?
then.
I'll stop fretting. This is like, she's like, I'll stop fretting then.
But is there, with streaming, is there the anxiousness of a film? Because there is no box office. So is that almost like a sense of relief that at least we're not handling that?
No, I mean, the nervousness is there, right? When you put out a film, when you put out a series, you want people to love it.
Yeah.
You want everybody to say, wow, what a series I watched, or what a film I watched. That is there. The measurement parameters, one parameter is less. There is no parameter of Friday ka number itna tha, or
Correct.
15% occupancy in the morning.
Yeah.
You don't have that element of it to worry about, but the rest of it is the same. Ultimately, you want people to like it, and you want people to say it's a good film / good series. I think the rest of it is the same. Just the virtue of the medium, you don't talk about those numbers that way, but now because Farzi has happened and everything happens, we really want the show to do well for
Which
Netflix.
was the most watched
series,
Yeah.
right? So
of
thanks
the year
for the
so
thanks
far,
for
yeah.
the pressure. And so now, so there is an
It's Omax numbers, DK.
Yeah. No, thanks for reminding him. He's saying that.
there is a number there. Yeah.
No,
So-
but the numbers aside, I know that each, like Amazon reaches certain number of audience, Netflix does certain. It's really about how many people are going to love this show, and it's a bit nicer that sense that it's
It's a
really
little
about
abstract, right? It's a little more abstract.
not just that. I'm saying it's just for a filmmaker. It's about I made something. Did you like it or not? I made something. How much did you like it? This would have been the best way to know how good the film or a show is versus how much occupancy is in theaters,
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
say, right? So this is a direct relation between the filmmaker and the audience. So as long as that's healthy, that's great, and people are saying great things, and people come up, and I don't know why I'm quoting reviews today, but let's say Rahul's review,
Yeah.
the number of small things he caught, the number of things we caught, we were delighting in what all he caught in our show, the nuances, the bit, and even the subtext, the behind the scenes bits. That's the fun of it.
Yeah.
At the end of it, even if you made a film and somebody caught all these things,
Sure.
that's what you want. Even a casual viewer comes up and says, that scene, this is a great feedback.
Yeah, and yesterday, like in one of the interviews, somebody was pointing out, I really loved it. When he inhales the smoke comes from the cut, and I'm like, there you go, man. That was
Those are the
VFX.
joys.
Obviously, there's no real cut in real. It's like, but it's done with that intention for you to catch it, and just a thin wisp of smoke coming through, and
Yes.
it's easy to not notice it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But you did notice it, yeah.
I have to ask one last question. Do you find that everything you do is measured against Family Man? Is it that, is that the sort of the albatross that hangs around the neck?
It is true. It was actually very, very true for Farzi. So we were really, really worried about that before the release of Farzi, saying I just wish people would just go and watch Farzi for what it is, and not keep saying, yeah, but it's not Family Man. I hope they don't
Even
do it.
Shahid used to say, "Arey yaar, everybody's gonna say Manoj Bajpayee versus Shahid," and he was also worried about it. I could see, we could sense it, and it was 2 seasons down, and the second season did so well. So now you have a huge shadow to come out. So we were just hoping that if Farzi just comes out of the shadow, we get to do Guns and Gulaabs. We'll get to do Gulkanda Tales. We'll get to do some random shit, not always a serious series. So we were hoping mainly for the freedom that might be controlled a bit. Self. We will feel a little more pressure. I want another thing. So on Friday, again, the fast bingers, which I'm not very fond of, the fast binging, they come to quicker conclusions.
Yeah.
So by Sunday and Monday is when the real feedback starts coming. Now that we are pros at these 4 shows, we see how the pattern is.
Anybody who relaxed over the weekend and watched it at their own pace,
Which is how the series is built.
right?
Exactly,
As
it's
opposed to
supposed to
somebody
be
saying,
seen.
I have 6 hours to binge this and go catch that event, right?
So you
it
fasting
becomes-
and saying, oh God, 4th episode, what's in a moving? So versus when that happened for Farzi, we said, shit, Friday, Farzi is great, but the Family Man is still their
Greatest.
best.
Yeah.
I still love Family Man, but Fuzzy is delicious, whatever it is. I'm like, oh God, get over it. And then by Sunday, Fuzzy has its own identity.
Yeah.
So that's what really,
Yeah,
thank God for
yeah.
it.
And now Guns and Gulaabs, because thanks to there's now two things, Fuzzy and Family Man, and also just by the look of it, it's an entirely different beast, right? So hopefully the comparisons are not going to be that many, and it's a different platform as well. I don't know if that matters, but at least it's an entirely different genre, so there's no
Yeah, it's
point
so
in
far off,
comparing
right? It's so
comparing
far
anymore.
off.
It is so far
Hopefully
off.
that
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do see the comparisons, but it's okay at this point. They'll get it.
They will. They will. Raj and DK, thank you so much and keep telling stories.
Thank you.
Thank you.